Okay, hello everyone. This is Mr. Manning, and this is going to be a hopefully pretty short video about how to incorporate some of this Google Sheets stuff that we've been learning into your accounting documents. So what I currently have open is the accounting documents templates. This is posted on Google Classroom in case if you need a copy of it. Down here at the bottom you can see that I have several tabs. I have a general journal that has several transactions from the month of December. I have ledgers that have those transactions recorded already, debit and credit transactions. However, I'm currently missing the balance. There is a worksheet that has all of the account titles listed, but there is no numbers for it yet. And then finally there's a balance sheet and an income statement, and we haven't discussed either one of these currently, so you can just ignore them for the time being. Alright, so on the general journal, there really isn't a whole lot of Google Sheets math stuff that you can do to improve this process. Whenever you are recording transactions, you just have to record them. One thing you may want to do, and this is 100% optional, but one thing you may want to do is at the bottom of the general journal, you could create an area for totals. And then you might ask Google Sheets to add up your debits column and your credits column. So if I decide to do that, I would choose the functions here and choose sum, and then select this whole section all the way up to the top. Hit enter. It tells me that my debits are $18,963.50, and if I drag this over to the right, that's what also I get for credit. Remember, debits and credits must always equal, so this might be a good way to identify a mistake early in the accounting cycle process. But there's another area where we're going to add up debits and credits, and if you make a mistake, you'll be able to find it there too. It's just a little bit later. Okay, let's move on to the ledgers now. The ledgers is where the Google Sheets formulas or equations are really going to help you. You can use Google Sheets to actually have it auto-calculate your balances for each ledger. So I am currently looking at my cash ledger, and I've got debit transactions and credit transactions, but I don't have a balance yet. So what I basically need to do is I need to find out my total debits and my total credits, and then subtract those two numbers, and whatever is left is my balance. So I am going to, just like I did for the general journal, I'm going to write totals down here on the very last line of my ledger for cash, and I am going to use the sum function, and I'm going to select all of these numbers, and I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom row. Now I know that there is nothing in some of these cells, but you want to include them anyways, because at the moment what we're doing is just setting up an equation that can be used anytime we do a ledger. So you want to have it calculate even if there's something blank there. There's a good chance that later there won't be a blank thing there. So I hit enter. It gives me my total. Because I did it in this column, I can do an autofill, drag it over to the right, and it gives me the total for credit as well. Alright, now to find my balance, I need to first determine, is my balance going to be a debit or a credit balance? And the easiest way to do that is just simply look at your two totals, and whichever number is higher, that's the type of balance you have. So my debit is $10,550, my credit is $5,213.50. Obviously debit is higher, so I'm going to have a debit balance on my cash account. So in the balance section, under the debit column, I am going to, at the very bottom here, I'm going to select that cell, and I'm going to write a really simple equation to subtract these two numbers. So equals this number, my debit total, minus my credit total. I hit enter, and it shows that I have a balance of $5,336.50. Alright, This process that we just did for cash, you will actually do for every single other ledger. You'll first add up the debits and the credits, and then you'll find out if it's a debit or credit balance, and that's where you will subtract the two numbers. So I'm going to scroll down to an account that I know is a credit balance. This one should be fairly easy. Accounts payable, reindeer accessories. So just like I did before, totals, I'm going to auto sum these or sum them. See how I'm including the debit column even though there's no numbers there? Once again, I'm trying to make it usable for the future as well. So there might eventually be numbers there. So I'm going to go ahead and include that now. I hit enter. Of course, nothing shows up because there's no numbers. I autofill. It adds up this column, basically brings the 750 down to the bottom. 750 is the credit balance, so I'm going to put my cursor on the credit side this time and subtract credit and debit. Hit enter, and it shows me that I have a credit balance of 750. One common mistake in this stage is if you happen to get a number that shows up in parentheses. Parentheses is Google Sheets' way of telling you that you have a negative number. And if you get that, you have made a mistake. You've mixed up the subtraction. You need to flip it around because you never should get a negative number in the ledgers. If it's a negative number, it means that the balance is on the other side. Okay. The very last thing, or last part of this demonstration, is to work with our worksheet. So when we did our worksheets previously, we had to look at the balance of every single ledger and take the balance and record it into the worksheet. And it was just a lot of copying one number into the other document. We can still do it that way. However, Google Sheets does have the ability to autofill the number from the ledger into the worksheet. And this is really a big time saver because not only do you have to do the back and forth, switch from the ledger, switch to the worksheet, put in a number, switch to the ledger, switch to the worksheet, put in a number. Not only do you not have to do that, but also if you happen to find a mistake later in the process or you have to make a correction of some kind, the ledgers will automatically update. And if you have the worksheet pull from the ledgers, this number will also automatically update. So speaking of, let me show you how to do this. So I know that cash is a debit balance. In my trial balance section of my worksheet, I'm going to select cash debit. I'm going to type equals. I am then going to go down to my ledgers tab, and I am going to click on the cell where my cash account balance is at. So for me, it is right here, which is cell H20. I hit enter, and Google Sheets is going to automatically pull this number right here, 5,336.50. It's going to pull that number into the worksheet. What I was saying earlier is if I need to make a correction later, I can do that and it will automatically update it for me. So this is an example. Let's say that after I go back and look over my work, I find a mistake, and this transaction on December 2nd was $225 credit, but that should have been a debit. I had just made a mistake and I recorded it in the wrong spot. The beautiful thing about Google Sheets is when I correct this, so I put it on the debit side, 225, that number automatically updated for me, the balance automatically updated for me, and if it's doing what it should, the worksheet number should have also automatically updated. So let's see if it did. 5,786.50 is my new total. I click on the worksheet and it says 5,786.50, so it's the new number as well. All right. So I would strongly encourage you to use these equations to your benefit. They will be a huge time saver for you, and it will kind of take out a lot of the monotonous work that accountants have to do. We'll let the computer do that part. All right, guys, thank you.